Hey everybody, my name is Asia and welcome back to my channel. Today I am doing a book unhaul. I've actually never done one of these on my channel because I feel like I unhaul books fairly slowly, but all these books will be put up on my Pango store for probably like a week or two after this video goes live, and then whatever doesn't sell I'm going to be taking to my used bookstore to get credit there. And honestly, this is probably not going to be that interesting of an unhaul because most of these books are like young adult fantasy or young adult contemporary, which I feel like we don't really talk about on BookTube as a whole. There's not much tea. I feel like people watch unhauls to get like the tea on books that people didn't like or stuff like that, but I don't really have that much tea. I know for a fact there's over 50. You know, I'll count at the end and we'll see how many there are, but I have a ton. So the first two are kind of tea. I have more books from this author as well in this unhaul, but I don't know where they are at the moment. But I have two books by Mackenzie Lee. I have The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue and This Monstrous Thing. This author is kind of, you know, she literally signed other authors' books and then sold them. So I decided to get rid of all of her books. I actually really enjoyed The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue, but I have to let her go because Mackenzie, why would you do that? Why would you profit off other authors' work that's not your own? So yeah, and I've never read this one. This one's a Frankenstein retelling, which was really cool, but she has to go. Next up are two books that I've also read, and that is Five Total Strangers and Road of Bones. Maybe I'm just really picky about my like wintry horror slash thrillers, but I read both these, gave them both like 2 stars, so I'm just decided to unhaul them. This one's very forgettable, and so is this one really. They both were just very meh. And I wouldn't really like put them in a recommendations video. Like even some 3 stars or even some 2 stars I would still recommend and put in recommendations videos for other people. But this one was boring and this one was just very YA. So I really wouldn't recommend either of these. I also have some ARCs in here because I used to go to Y'all Fest. It is a young adult book festival in Charleston, South Carolina. So I have a lot of ARCs because they would give them out for free, and even some like full published books. I would just grab them. Okay. I would just grab them off the tables, and I didn't know anything that they were about or anything like that, so a lot of them I'm starting to let go of. I still have a good portion, but I've let go of some. So I have this one called The Winter Duke. I believe this is fantasy. It came out in March of 2020. I have Chosen by Kirsten White. This one I've actually been debating on keeping because I haven't watched Buffy, but I think I would really like it, and this has to do with Buffy. Then I have this one called Long May She Reign, which I believe is another YA fantasy, and this one came out in February of 2017. This one also got a used bookstore. I believe it came out in March of 2014. So yeah, I definitely think that, and it's called The Uninvited by Sophie Jordan. This one is about this homicidal tendency syndrome, aka the kill gene, and that just kind of puts me off. Next up I have one called Asylum by Madeline Rouge. So this one is about an asylum and it has these pictures in it. So I honestly might keep this one. I'm gonna put this one in the maybe pile and I will discount it from the counter. And then this one I have The Murder Complex by Lindsay Cummings. This one I picked up because she used to be really good friends with Sasha Alsberg, and I never read any of her books. I don't think that she's a bad writer. I literally don't know, but I just don't really have an interest in this book anymore. Some YA fantasies that I have are Incendiary and The Last Name Sarah. A lot of these I actually used to get from Owl Crate, and I'm not like an Owl Crate subscriber anymore. I haven't been for years, but I was for years. I just don't really like YA books anymore, so some of these, like I think this Incendiary is from Owl Crate. So another ARC that I think I picked up at the used bookstore is called Siren Storm. This one also came out in 2014, which I know that I wasn't at Y'all Fest that year. I have no clue what this one is about at all. I also have Truly Madly Royally, which honestly this one I have a second copy of it. I don't know where it is, but I'm pretty sure I do have a full copy of this. So that's why I ended up with 2, because I picked one up and then I ended up winning this dress that the author made, and that dress I never wore it, but yeah, that's why I'm getting rid of it, because I have a duplicate copy. And then I'm also getting rid of this Love Life in the List because this one is also an ARC that came out in 2018, and I'm pretty sure I did read this one, but I'm not like a Casey West stan, so I'm just unhauling her books. I think I only had this one. Most of her books I actually read as ebooks back in the day, which was uncommon for me, but that's just, they were like quick, fun, fast-paced books, but I don't think it's something that I need to keep on my shelf. Another book that's an ARC that I just picked up, it came out in 2020. It's called This Light Between Us. It's a World War II novel. I'm not a big fan of historical fiction, and this one is written by a man, and you know, I'm not that big of a fan of men particularly men authors, I feel like they have really interesting writing, and it's especially when it's written from a men's perspective, it's normally really hard for me to get into. So I have some other World War II books on my TBR, but this is one that I just know that I would honestly never ever get to because I don't even read the ones that I have more of an interest in. So it needs to go. I also have The Bone House by Emily Lloyd Jones. I need y'all to tell me if I need to keep this book or not. I ended up keeping one book. I originally was going to unhaul The Hearts We Sold, but that one is about like a demon or the devil or something by Emily Lloyd Jones, and so I decided to keep that one. So I need to know if I need to keep this one as well. Let me know. I have no idea. I just know that it's young adult. Then I have Between the Lines and Off the Page by Jodi Picoult and Samantha Van Leer, which I believe is her kid. And this one, I am interested in some Jodi Picoult books, but more of like her thrillery court drama books and not so much as like her romances. I believe this is like a spin-off or in the same series, but I picked these up, or I picked this one up at Y'all Fest, and I think I saw this one at the used bookstore, but I just don't really have an interest in these particularly. Another arc that I have is Heartstrings and Other Breakable Things. It's a YA contemporary romance. We have enough of them. I don't need any more. Then I also have this one called Farewell to Manzanar. This is actually a World War II, I believe, memoir, and I did read part of it to help somebody out with a project or essay that they were writing, but honestly this wasn't even my book. They were supposed to take it back, and I don't particularly want this, so yeah, it wasn't my book. I didn't want it. It just ended up in my possession. And then another World War II book I believe is Prisoner B3087 by Alan Gratz. I have another Alan Gratz book that I'm getting rid of as well. He writes like young adult World War II books. Again, I just am not a huge fan of historical fiction overall, and I do have some World War II books on my TBR, but it's like a couple. It's not that many, and this one I just know I would never get to, especially because it's young adult. So this one is a middle grade, and I honestly might keep it. I know I keep saying that a lot, but to be honest with y'all, I filmed this once and I was super tired that day, so I feel like I was very down and dragged, and I just went through it super quick, and I feels like I don't like how this went, so I decided to refilm it. And I've unhauled even more books since I filmed the last video, so I feel okay with keeping some of them now. But this is Hunters of the Lost City. I literally only have 3 books right now that are middle grade on my whole TBR, so I honestly might keep this one. It just says A Sorcerer's War, A Web of Lies, A Dangerous Secret, and I believe I got this one at Y'all Fest as well, so I think this one's gonna go in the maybe pile. Then I have Chosen by Taryn Matheru, which is somebody else that used to be friends with a Book Utopia, Sasha Alsberg. She was the first booktuber I found, so she really meant a lot to me, so I picked this one up to support her friend. I don't really care about her or her friend anymore, really, so yeah, it's a YA fantasy. And then I have The Statistical Probability of Love at First Sight. I believe there's other Jennifer E. Smith books in this unhaul as well. I own a couple of them, but I actually read this one and I really liked it when I read it, but I just don't think it'll be the type of thing that I want to reread or recommend or read any more for other books, because there are other books I haven't read. And then I'm getting rid of a copy of Luxe Beginnings because I actually owned 2 copies of these, because one of them I actually had signed and it got lost at school, I think, and then I ended up finding it months later, and I literally begged my parents to buy me another copy of it because I loved it so much. So this is like the new copy that's not signed, even though this one's actually nicer because it is not beat up. Like the other one literally got beat up at school. So yeah, but I'm just getting rid of this one because I have a duplicate copy. Another just YA contemporary romance that I have is Time of Our Lives. This one I believe is about people like going to college or something like that. And you know, I already been there, done that. Oh, here's my other Jennifer E. Smith. I believe there's actually one more as well. But this is what Happy looks like. This was her really, really popular one. And you know, I just never read it. And I do have some older ones, like older YA contemporary that I do still want to read. Like a lot of Morgan Matson I still want to read. And I really like Jen Bennett and stuff like that. So I do have some of their books, but you know, Jennifer E. Smith, she writes really quick, cute, fun books, but I just don't think that they are for me anymore. And then I'm getting rid of On the Come Up by Angie Thomas. Don't cancel me. It's because I have a second copy of this as well. I bought it, didn't know I had it, and then I ended up picking up another copy, and then I was like, wait, I already have this. So I also have The Takedown by Corey Wang. I think this is about like hackers or something like that, and you know, it's just another YA, and I don't think this is going to be something that I really want to hold on to. Okay, so I'm getting rid of a copy of The Witches by Roald Dahl because I ended up having 2 copies. I read this book in 4th grade and I really liked it, so maybe I'll do a reread of this soon. I found my 2nd copy of Totally Madly Royally, so I'm going to be holding on to this one. Then I have Open Road Summer by Emery Lord. This is just a YA contemporary romance that is about 2 best friends, 2 broken hearts, one summer that will change everything. And this is just a YA contemporary that's, I think they go on a road trip in the summer. Then I have The Sea of Monsters by Rick Riordan because I actually own a bind-up of every single book in this series, and I was going to try and collect these versions of the books, and I actually have another one that I can see right now over there, but I don't know why because I haven't even read this series, so I feel like it's really unnecessary for me to hold on to these books. 2 YA retellings I'm getting rid of is Hunted by Megan Spooner and Everland by Wendy Spindle. This is a Beauty and the Beast retelling, I believe, and then this one is a Tinkerbell. So these are just 2 YA retellings that I don't think that I really want to hold on to. I know I keep saying like it's just books that I don't want to hold on to, but I don't really have much else to say about them because I've never read them, and most of them I'm just getting rid of because they're YA and they don't interest me that much anymore. I also, for a lot of these, especially the fantasy, I literally gave them to my mom and I was like, read the synopsis and tell me which ones I should keep and which ones I should get rid of. So a lot of these also passed to my mom, and if she gave them the nix, then they're gone. I also am getting rid of Zenith. I have an arc of this book that I am keeping because I got it signed by Sasha, and so I will keep on to that just as a booktube memory. I got it at Y'all Fest, the arc, but the full copy I don't need because this book is not good. I'm also getting rid of the Ask and the Answer because this is book 2. I don't even have book 1, so I don't need book 2. And then I'm getting rid of The British Lion. This one I think is actually an adult one, but it is another World War II novel. I don't need her. I would never read her. This next one is one that I've actually read, and that is What Light by Jay Asher. This is a really fast-paced YA Christmas romance. I just don't think I'm ever going to read it or recommend it because it's YA, and like I feel like to recommend this I would have to reread it because I read it so long ago and my taste was so different because I was literally a child. So yeah, and then I also have another Casey West, and that is P.S. I Still Like You. You know, just unhauling Casey West because I don't need her. And then I'm getting rid of No Good Tea Goes Unpunished by Brie Baker because, as you can see, this is not like a mass market paperback size. And my friend bought this for me. When I told her it was this size, she was like, no. I'm gonna buy you the normal size. That's Nicole from Who Picked This Book because it's like her favorite author, one of them. So she bought me a normal mass market paperback copy of this to fit with the rest of the series, which is mostly bought by her as well. So I'm just getting rid of the duplicate copy. And then I'm getting rid of The Imposters by Scott Westerfeld because I never even read Uglies. I am holding on to Uglies though, but this one I just don't think I would ever get this far where I would pick up this one. I'm also getting rid of Project 1065 by Alan Gratz. Again, this is just another YA World War II that I don't think I want. And then I'm unhauling Spectacle because I have 2 copies of this. I'm actually going to, I don't know why I put this one in the stack, but I have an art copy and then I have a full copy, so I'm gonna hold on to the full copy. I don't even know what this is about, but it's clever and full of murder, and I think it's like historical in the way that I like historical. Oh, and it's signed to me. Okay, I didn't even know that, and there's a bookmark in it. So I have to hold on to it. Some of these books probably are signed. Sometimes I would pick up a book and then the author would be there or something, so I would get it signed. And then I have House of Salt and Sorrow by Aaron A. Craig. I have 2 copies of this book, and I decided to get rid of the Book of the Month edition. And then I'm also getting rid of Elixir by Hilary Duff because it's by Hilary Duff. Sorry, girly, but I just don't believe in her writing capabilities. And then I'm getting rid of Restore Me by Tana Mafi because I read the original trilogy, loved the original trilogy, but I just don't think we need a continuation. Like, I just don't see why. So yeah, maybe one day I will read it as like an ebook or something if I reread the series and I love it, but I just don't see that happening. Next up is The Last Olympian. Again, I don't know why I was collecting these copies. We don't need them. Okay, then I'm getting rid of The Siren by Kiera Cass. I liked the Selection series. I even read The Heir, so I'm holding on to The Crown as well because I read The Heir. But, you know, let's just stop with the Selection, okay? Oh, here is The Gentleman's Guide to Getting Lucky by Mackenzie Lee. We don't like her. Getting rid of her. And then I have The Son of Neptune because I have all the other books in this, the spin-off series in hardcover, and this was like the lone paperback one, and I haven't even read the original series, so I don't think I'll be getting to it anytime soon, so I could just pick up a hardcover edition at any used bookstore really. Then I gave my mom a lot of YA contemporaries, and she said to get rid of these two Jennifer L. Armentrouts. So Jennifer is going. And the last Mackenzie Lee is The Lady's Guide to Petticoats and Piracy. Another YA fantasy my mom told me to get rid of, Legacy of Kings by Eleanor Herman. Some more ARCs as well. I have What I Like About You and Rules for Being a Girl. Then I also have this one, The Geek's Guide to Unrequited Love. This one's not an ARC, it's just a YA contemporary that I'm getting rid of. This one I honestly might hold on to as well, and that is A List of Cages by Robin Rowe, because I've heard really good things about this one. I don't know what it's about at all. Now we're moving on to the cart I have of books. There's not that many on it. It's a small cart. But I have the Lightning Thief graphic novel, because again, I haven't read this series or anything by this author, so I don't think I need the graphic novel. Then I used to read the series called the Amulet series when I was younger. But I don't think I would like it really anymore, and so I'm keeping volume 1. I have 2, 3, 4, and 6 here, and I'm keeping volume 1 for nostalgia, but I don't think I need all these volumes because I probably will never reread it. If anything, I'll just reread the first one. I have this book called Dark Energy, which is a YA alien sci-fi, and I picked it up at a Scholastic Book Fair, so I don't think I need that one. And then I have The Merciful Crow, which is another YA fantasy my mama told me to get rid of. Then I have Three Dark Crowns, again, same thing. And then I have Afterworlds by Scott Westerfield, because she's thick, she's chunky, and I don't think I ever like want to read a thick, chunky book that is about what it's about, because I'm pretty sure it's about a writer. It doesn't need to be that long. I'm getting rid of this book called Zombie. It's just a YA zombie book. I don't think I have an interest in it. Then I have this Reptile Room by Lemony Snicket, because I already own one in like the traditional hardcovers of the series. Then I'm getting rid of Written in My Own Heart's Blood by Diana Gabaldon. I believe this is one of the books in the Outlander series, or maybe not, but if anything, I would read Outlander, the first book, and then reevaluate from there. But I don't know if I'll ever even read that book because it's huge. And then I have The Blank Book by Lemony Snicket. Don't know why I bought this from the used bookstore, because it's literally a blank book. And it's completely blank. Oh wait, there's something in it. 12/6/07. One night my pop was working. He heard footsteps in his shop. That's all that it says. Oh, I believe in aliens. They are scary people. There's a couple things written here, but not by me. I'm also getting rid of The Maze Runner, which is really sad because this was the first author that I ever met. And the first book I ever got signed to me. But James Dashner is known to be very sexist, and I think he has some sexual assault allegations against him. And then I'm also getting rid of Kiss of the Spindle. Don't know what this is about. It looks like a historical romance. I'm not a huge fan of historical romances. I have enough already. I don't even have that many, but I have enough for me. 5 Feet Apart. Getting rid of this one because I like the movie better. I've read the book too. I just like the movie better. And then lastly, I have my last Jennifer E. Smith, The Geography of You and Me. So in total, there was 73 books, I believe, that I'm unhauling. So that's really, really good, even though I just bought like 50. So they're getting replaced, but they're getting replaced by books that I actually have an interest in and that I want to read. These books, I never think about them. I will probably forget that they exist in a matter of time. So I'm happily getting rid of these books. So that's all that I have for this video today. I hope that y'all enjoyed. If you made it to the end, leave the little shopping bag emojis down below, because now I can go shopping for all new books now that I have a minuscule amount of space left on my shelves. And I will see y'all in my next one. Bye everybody. I'm writing rhymes in the kitchen, soaking the moments we live in, yeah. You got the nerve to